Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Marketing from a Digital Perspective brought to you by iLocal and the Research Giant. Hey, everyone, thank you for tuning in. I have a special guest on the show today, Ben Warfield of Warfield Masonry. He's going to be our guest today. We're going to be talking about his business and talking about some of the things that they're into, etc. Hopefully, I always say this, that you glean something. Even if it's not your specific industry, you can glean something from him as to what he's doing on the digital side of the house. So we're going to dig in. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you tuning in. Ben, welcome.
Thank you, Regis.
Yes. It's a kind of early morning, and we're up here early on the podcast. But you know what? Hey, I really appreciate you coming on. But I want to dig in, and I want to talk to you about your business and see what you're doing, see what's happening out there in the marketplace. There's been a lot of changes out there in the marketplace, etc. So my first question to you, Ben, in reference to your business, one, how long have you been in business?
Next week's 13 years.
13 years in the business, and with all of your experience going on with what you do, etc. What have been some of the maybe some of the challenges or some of the maybe the ups and downs of running your business in this environment or over the course of the last maybe 5-10 years, etc.? What have you seen that has changed significantly?
Oh, besides dealing with taxes?
How did I know that was going to come up?
That's forefront of my mind. That's weird. I think one of the biggest challenges I've faced in business that many businesses face is breaking through obscurity in the marketplace. And that's something that I feel like iLocal has helped me out with a lot. And something that I really struggled with for about, probably the first 4 or 5 years of running my business was just getting my name out there and getting in front of potential clients to make a pitch.
Wow. Listen to what he just said there. I mean, and this wasn't staged, so I just want to let everybody know. This is a question that I wanted to ask him, and I had no idea what his response was going to be. But basically what he was saying, breaking through the obscurity. And, as a lot of businesses out there they're running in whatever industry that you're in, it is about getting your name out there so you can make that connection.
100%. What separates you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, what separates you.
Exactly. What's your unique selling position, what you're all about, etc. And I think that's important, what he just indicated, that once you kind of crack that hemisphere and all of a sudden people are kind of warming up to what you have out there digitally online, then your business is kind of like, okay, now we're on the runway. We're getting ready to, take off.
Exactly. Like everybody knows what a Cadillac is, right?
Right.
It sells itself.
Right. Exactly.
Well, being in business and starting a small business, it doesn't sell itself. You have to sell it. And so you have to get like some weapons in your tool belt, right? To go out and like carve through the marketplace and show people what's up.
So in your mind, what would be some of those weapons that, you have employed or you have used, in conjunction with working with iLocal?
Oh, I think number one is like branding. And knowing what branding's beyond like logos and all that. It's more like, that's what people think of, right? They think, he's got a flashy hat or a flashy shirt or whatever, and that stands out, or I can see his name on the trucks all day. And that's not what branding is. Branding is about the image of the company that the owner would like to provide to the client. And that's really a mirror image of what that person feels inside about themselves. And so if you're not really with it inside yourself, your brand is going to be suffering. Does that make sense?
No, that makes good sense.
And so that was where I kind of began with my game, was like, hey, I know I'm going to do a small job for some of these people that are testing the new guy, right?
Right.
And I want to deliver what they would get as a reasonable expectation for any size project, not just a small project. And so start small, build the brand, quality, performance, schedule, good communication. I would see weaknesses of other people and what they were doing in the marketplace. I listened to what my clients were saying. They were saying things like, oh, they never call us, or they don't show up, or they leave without, mainly lack of communication, So I think that a lot of people try to over communicate to too many people instead of narrowing the funnel. And have you heard of the 80-20 rule?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like living in that 80-20 mindset of your clients being, your 20% of your clients is 80% of your volume. So
Right.
when you cater to the 20%, like hand over fist, no matter what size the job is or what the task at hand is, you take care of that. You're building brand identity.
No, that makes sense.
And brand identity becomes synonymous with your clients. They know when they're going to call that they're going to get this replicatable process. And so that's what I started at a small level. And then it got into like, okay, now I got a little more money, got a little more machine. I need some more marketing. So then I reached out, had a website built, not by a local. And then I could tell you the whole story about how Jason and I came together.
No,
like, this, like I said, this is not scripted. This is just real. This is real talk.
This is real talk.
This is just real talk.
Exactly.
And so I literally was out grinding tooth and nail and putting up like at the bars, push pins. So granted, 13 years ago. What was 13 years ago, Regis? What year was that?
Oh my gosh, 13, so it'll be minus 20, so it's 07.
07. So what happened in 08?
Oh my gosh, the great crash.
Yeah, so that was the day my daughter was born.
Oh wow.
Was the day that Countrywide crashed the stock market.
Yeah.
So I was grinding.
Yeah, you were grinding
I
hard.
was sitting right down the street here at St. Joe's, looking out over Tacoma one morning, and I got a brand new baby, and I watch Fox News, and the stock market crashed 3,500 points. And B of A took over WAMU, and that whole beginning of the
exactly
the debt fireball. It's not a snowball. Right. That was a fireball. yeah.
The Great Meltdown.
Yeah,
with
the
fire,
Great Meltdown.
Right?
So within those next couple of years, like I was literally out pushing business cards, push pinning them to like Post-it boards at like places of business like bars or restaurants or whatever. I was putting cards out. I was like hand marketing, and cold calling and showing up on job sites and handing out, here you go. Because there was literally, it was like the lights were out. Wow. I mean, the hardest hit industry was construction.
Right. Because everything just stopped.
That's how iLocal came to me. I didn't come to iLocal. iLocal came to me. He was building brand identity at the same time. He was out hustling, trying to get his and find avatar clients. And he found my website. My website was really nice. Like I had a guy build it, cost me a few $100. I thought, oh boy, $500. That's like so much investment, And this guy Jacob was a friend of a friend, and he did a clean build. It was nice. It had nice color. It was like black background. I can still remember it was black and orange, and it had like it just really showcased the work, which was like we kind of build works of art, and so. It was a really good showcase of that. And that's what Jason said when he called me. He says, your website, your work is beautiful, but it's not making you any calls. It's not making your phone ring. Like, I want to get you to a place where your phone's ringing. Now my phone rings average in March and April, 130 to 140 calls a month.
Wow. Listen to that, 130 to 140 calls a month. Beautiful website. So I've said this before. You can have a great looking website. It could just be stunning.
It did zero. It did zero.
And
it
do
did zero.
Yeah,
zero
exactly.
calls.
Zero calls.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because you know what? It's part of the look and everything else. But if you're not targeting and if your website is not being visibly seen online, you're missing the whole. You're missing the whole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're missing it. And so what you need to do, you need to find a marketing firm. You need to find somebody that's going to help you with your online digital marketing to say, hey, look, you know what? We're going to push this thing for you. You got a great looking website, but now you need to put some juice behind it. I call it the SEO juice. You need to put some juice behind it in order to get that phone to ring. And I think that's what iLocal does. We do that very well. We help with the content. We put you in the markets that you want to serve, and we want to get that phone ringing because at the end of the day, you know, you can have a beautiful looking website, Ben, and guess what?
It did nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
It was no different than a business card.
Right.
That's what I would use it for. People would go, oh, where can I see some of your work? I'm like, oh, well, I got a website. And then I hand them my card. I go, you can go and check on there, check out the gallery and stuff. And they would go through and they'd look at, oh, his work is good. This is nice. They didn't get there without having the physical card.
Right.
And that was before you were even really texting much, And here's the card. Go to the site. That's not driven people. There was no marketing there at all.
Yeah, that's no marketing.
No.
And that's a lot of legwork. And as you as a business owner, you want to work smarter, not harder. And what he was doing, like he said, when he's at St. Joseph's, he was looking out over the valley, newborn baby, everything is crashing. He's like, okay, I got to get my grind on. We get it. But he ran into iLocal, ran into Jason, said, okay, beautiful looking website. Now let's sit down and talk about getting some calls.
Let's fire up the diesel.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
let's fire up the engine. Yeah, exactly. Let's get this thing revved up. So what other things, Ben, have you done in conjunction with your business, just general overall? Because some of the things that you said earlier, I like the fact that you teed up that, hey, look, you know what? I saw what other people were doing, the 80-20 rule, and I started leveraging what they weren't doing and started reading between the lines, infusing that into my business and making sure that, hey, look, you know, when they come to me, they're getting value, they get the communication, they get all of those things, et cetera. What other things that you've, you know, looked at other businesses out there and said, okay, I'm going to take this and put it in my repertoire?
I think the other thing to build is build process.
Build process.
About why you're doing. Think about your reason why you do things in operation of your business, and that doesn't just necessarily dictate. Go to like marketing. That's like, why do we answer the phone a certain way?
Right.
Why do we wait till the second ring instead of the first ring? Because we don't want to seem too hungry when the phone rings the first time, but we don't want to seem like we don't care, so we answer on the second or the third ring. You know, little things like that. Thinking about having as many things locked into a process allows you to grow smoother. Growth is always difficult, and that's what ultimately in most entrepreneurial minds is that they want to continue to grow their business.
Correct.
And one of the coolest phrases I've ever heard was he who controls the rain controls the game. So if you can make it rain, you control the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And so making it rain is 130 calls a month. Then you're choosing, right?
Right.
Are you familiar with the book Pitch Anything?
I've heard of that book. I haven't read it.
Yeah, so it's a really good book about frame of conversation and about sales. So like I'm very well studied in marketing and sales. I didn't go to college. I think I barely graduated high school, but after high school,
come on now, man.
Yeah, 0.76.
Don't tell it all.
Yeah, tell it all. 0.76 GPA. I was a grinder, right? School was not for me.
And just a little caveat here for those out there that have your Harvards and, you know, your Yales and Browns degree. Nothing against you.
Nope.
But it's all about the grind and it's all about the skill. Because I was watching something. I want you to get back to your point here in a moment. But I was watching something online, and I forgot the gentleman's name, but he was saying if you have skill and you know how to figure things out, you can monetize that. Put yourself in a position and you can grow. Because what ends up happening in our educational system, I'm kind of digressing a little bit, but they teach you how to do things, but they don't teach you how to be successful. And they don't teach you really how to leverage what you have and monetize that and bridge it and move it to the next level. So, but anyway, I digress.
So back to that one that thing about Pitch Anything was that there is a term called framing, and that's, frame of conversation, right? Well, there's a frame. And so going back to the 130, 140 calls a month is that you become what's known as the prize. You're the prize frame. So your clients are coming to you and saying, whoa, we got to get this guy. Like, he's hotter than hot, right? It's limited availability. There's a little scarcity in there. Like, oh, we got so many calls. Like, here's what we're doing. Then you can choose with that avatar client. It's a whole process, right?
Exactly.
So avatar client is, where do they live? You know, like, what's their, how much money do they make? Really, who are they are? Like, how do they identify with you as a brand, and how do you identify with them? Because you don't want to be dealing with people that are like in the X quadrant when you're in the Y quadrant, because it just doesn't make sense. Like, energetically, it's not going to work. You can't bring value to the relationship. And so, like, that's something that I've really focused on was, getting to the avatar, weeding through the leads, and processing that half of the business too, so that we're actually making good calls. And so one thing is that you don't want to just be like, oh, of those 120 people that call, probably 100 or 130, probably 120 we're not even going to have a meeting with, because they're just not the right client. But we're going to give them a good solid referral, and we're going to create value in the relationship. That's another thing. That's what I was trying to do at a small level. Value grows, right? Dollars grow. Dollars follow value. So when you have value in the relationship, it starts to grow. And that's even if it's hey, you know what? We can't get to that job right now because we're booked out, 3 months. But so-and-so over here can, and they're a quality contractor. They're going to help take care of you. And just making that follow-up. Say, hey, did they get with you? Yeah, they did. Okay, and then tell them so-and-so that you referred them. Hey, we referred you to Tim over here. Tim's got a little job. We can't get to it, but we'd love to have you as a referral do it. So we built a little referral network with 3 other contractors, and we give some of those to them. And that's spreading the love, right?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, and so then the client's getting what they want. So then when they call again, or if your name's in their mouth, they're not going to be like, oh, that's the guy that